Hey everyone, what's up? This is Dr. Charlie Johnson, a physical therapist. Hope you are doing well. In this video, I want to talk about, does form matter? I want to help debunk this myth of, Charlie, well, you help people all around the world, but how are you going to help me with my form if you can't feel me? Right? I can see you because we can use Zoom cameras, but you know, lots of y'all are out there, and you're trying to make sure that the exercise you're doing, that the things you're doing to heal, right, are done in the right way. Right? We tend to see things through this lens of like, am I doing this right or am I doing this wrong? And I'd say there's a spectrum there, right? And here's the cool thing. The rightest thing or the rightest way to do any specific exercise is in the way that feels best for you. Real quick before I dive into this topic a little bit more, again, this is Dr. Charlie, PT, again, a physical therapist, orthopedic board specialty. I help people all around the world with back, butt, sciatic problems learn to fix themselves naturally using the power of their mind and movement as medicine, all right? And so if you're out there and you're watching this, you're relying upon someone else to make sure you have the right form or this or that, and you think that that really matters, it's okay. You can think that it matters. I'm just telling you that it doesn't really matter. Now, look, we're not talking about powerlifting here and lifting thousands of pounds. All right, so maybe there's some form tweaks there we could make to increase the efficiency of movement and things like that. But at the end of the day, movement, when it comes to resolving pain, it's just a means to an end. We're doing basic movements to help facilitate the body's natural ability to heal. Notice I said the body's natural ability to heal. So many people out there are trying to force healing with exercises. They're trying to use exercise as a weapon to get rid of their pain. Use weapons to fight things off, to get rid of things, to destroy things, destroy pain. I don't like it. I don't want it. And so because we're kind of conditioned as a society to be like, pain is bad, and obviously nobody likes it. It's an unpleasant sensory experience. We try to use exercise as weapons rather than tools. And just that little nugget alone could change the course of your healing. What do you mean, Charlie? Instead of trying to use exercise as a weapon, the more I do, the better I do it. Maybe I just had my form off a little bit. Maybe I need to go to someone and, when I do this, I do that. Sure, I mean, when we look at the evidence, I used to work in what we call like a movement performance. That's a big spider. That's a nasty spider. Ugh. I would have stepped on him. I used to work at a place called MPI, Movement Performance Institute, out of Los Angeles, and we would hook up people to surface EMGs, those little electrodes you can put on your skin to tell which muscles are working this and that. I'd hook them up to people's butt cheeks and hips and legs and all this, right? And we'd look at the screens. We'd look at these big screens, all this technology, and we'd see, okay, when somebody does a hip exercise like this, or an abdominal exercise like that, or they move like this, or they move like that, this muscle's working more, and that's good, and this muscle's moving less. I get it. There's maybe more optimal ways to move, or at least that's what we think, but I'm not so sure. And this is after doing lots of research on this topic. We used to put people on force plate treadmills, so we can see their exact stepping pattern. We used to have people, again, on 3D motion analysis, so we can see, is there a knee caving in? Is it doing this? Is it doing that? And what's funny is you look at like the fastest people, the most in shape people, and they all have like their own little movement patterns. There's no like optimal movement pattern. All right. And so look, at the end of the day, maybe when we're talking about injury prevention for certain topics, or powerlifting or this or that, all right, okay, maybe form matters a bit. But when it comes to doing some basic things to try to resolve your pain, moving your body, lifting your legs, twisting your trunk, going up, going down, there's a beetle. Man, think of all the little bugs we squash throughout the day. Sorry. Does form really matter? Form doesn't really matter, all right? Meaning, the only form that matters is the form that feels best for you, all right? And so, you've got lots of different ways you can move the body. Let's just make this really simple. You've got your cardinal directions. You can move north, you can move south, east, west, and then you can kind of rotate, all right? Maybe you can go some in between directions, all right? And then you've got different body positions. You've got 7 different body positions. Or you can lay on your back, for example, just name a couple. You can be on all fours. You could be on your belly. You could be standing. You could be sitting. You could be kneeling, right? Again, just name a few options. It's like an old puppy. And then it kind of makes up this matrix. All these different positions, all these different motions, all these different positions, boom, and then you have a grid. And these things can be really easy. Lifting your one leg, lifting your other leg. But then if you lift your leg when you're on your side, it's like this, right? When you're on your side. Then you stand up and it looks like this, right? And so there's nothing special about these things. You can't really screw it up. The only reason that we think we can screw it up is because we've been conditioned to believe that there's a right and a wrong way. And, oh, well, your glutes aren't firing, or this isn't firing. If you lived life without pain before your current pain experience, and you didn't think about the way your glutes were working or the way your hip flexors were pulling on your pelvis, then guess what? It didn't matter before, and it doesn't matter now. You develop pain for some other reason. It may not even be physical. That doesn't mean it's not real. It might be maybe you had a stressful event. Maybe somebody died. Maybe you had some big change in your life. Good, bad, or indifferent. New baby. Still stressful. New career. Any of these things, physically and or mentally, can cause the problem. And again, we just don't know so much about this stuff. All right? And so if you are doing exercise, you're wondering like, hey, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right form? Just do that which feels best. If it feels best, letting your body move a certain way, do it. Oftentimes, when you force yourself into moving a way that you should move according to the world, whatever that means, the expert, oh, when you squat, you shouldn't put your knees over your toes. Well, that's kind of just what I do, and it actually feels better. When I squat, or when I move, you should keep your feet and toes forward. Well, I've always walked with my one foot out a little bit. Are you telling me that's wrong? I never hurt before. But now that you hurt, right, we try to medicalize every little movement, every little thing that isn't, quote unquote, symmetrical, perfect, etc. Why? Because we're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And we're just making this stuff up. All right? There's got to be a reason for why you hurt. And so we just slap a bunch of different reasons, hoping that one sticks. But have you ever noticed that maybe the way that you've been told to do an exercise doesn't feel good intuitively to your body? But it's the right form. Well, it might be the right form, according to whatever that means. But if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Allow your body to follow what feels good. If you're like, hey, Charlie, I can't squat because I have pain in my butt cheek. Well, then what if you rotate your one leg out? What if you rotate your leg out? What if you rotate your leg in? You might be thinking, I can't squat like that. Why not? That guy walking behind me. See him over there? Let's go. I think the wind's in my face. It's probably not going to be good. But what if he had pain walking? And he found that when I rotate my leg this way or rotate my leg that way, it feels better. It's not the best form for walking or this or that, according to whoever, but it feels good. If you're doing a certain stretch or a certain exercise, right? Should I feel it here or should I feel it there? Well, maybe, but what feels best for you? And so I think maybe what I'm getting at, maybe another nugget here, other than the using motion as a tool versus a weapon, as something to help you versus try to fend off your pain, which just fuels it with more hypervigilance and fear, is like trying to help you understand that you can listen to your body to naturally kind of lean into that which feels best. Hey, puppy. And really listen to that, all right? Rather than listening to things outside of you, say this is good or this is bad, all right? Find what feels best for you. There is no such thing as perfect form. It's okay if when you do certain things, again, there's lots of different exercises. I'm not talking about one specifically, all right? But when it comes to getting out of pain, the goal is not to have you do this stuff for forever. We're not trying to, enroll you in a weightlifting competition if you're in a lot of pain right now. All right, maybe at the end we talk about form, but in the early stages of trying to resolve these problems, and as you go throughout this process, the goal of movement is not to fix anything per se. It's to start to reestablish safety within the system. It's to help you break this, what we call movement-pain relationship. When I move or when I do this thing, it hurts. And by forcing yourself into a box, I should move like this. This exercise should be done like that. It feels yucky, but this is the right way. And I know I should do this because this is what they told me. And I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way. You're fueling it with more fear. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? This just fuels the problem-solving mode. Puts you on higher alert. Stresses you out because you're worried you're doing it right or you're not doing it right. Doing it right or doing it wrong. When instead it's like, well, what feels best for your body? And wouldn't it take a lot of weight off your shoulders if you were like, wow, are you telling me, Charlie, I can't really screw this up? The only way you can really screw this up, all right, is by doing stuff that makes you feel worse. And by forcing yourself into the best form. And so I think there's a lot more benefits to allowing your body to do what feels good. And there's a lot more risk to trying to have the best form. Right? Again, this isn't to say there's sometimes more efficient ways to move or this or that. But when it comes to getting out of pain, chances are you were moving like this before and didn't have pain. So do we really need to go about like trying to fix the whole system? Fix the way that you're moving? Fix the way that you're doing exercises? We use these exercises as a means to an end. The goal is not to do them for forever. It's another topic for another video. There is no such thing as a perfect form. The most perfect form is one that feels best for you. Allow your body to do what feels good, and you'll start to feel good. All right? Allow your body to bypass its natural instinct and do what other people tell you you should do, and obsess about the form and the way you're doing everything along this pain relief journey. And you'll be stressed out. You'll have more pain. You'll be frustrated because you're doing everything right, but nothing's working. Have you ever said that? I'm doing everything right. If you're watching this, I'm doing everything right, Dr. Charlie. I'm doing everything they told me to do, and nothing's working. Maybe it's time to let go of doing everything right. And then everything will start working. Called the rule or law of opposites. All right, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I'm doing everything right, but nothing's working. What's the opposite of nothing working? Everything's working. What's the opposite of doing everything right? Doing everything wrong? Doing everything the way that you want to do it, right? Versus relying on other people outside of you to tell you this is the right form, this is good form, this is bad form. All right, so hello, sir. Learn to listen to your body, lean into what feels best, and the most perfect form is one that you establish as feeling most comfortable, most best for your body, your own condition, okay? That's all I got. Again, this is Dr. Charlie PT. Hopefully this was useful. Hopefully you pulled some nuggets out of this. Everyone, hope you have a great day. Thanks.